Kia ora everyone, welcome back to our channel, my Kiwinoy fam. So our channel is all about living in New Zealand, life in New Zealand, what it is like to live here, the life of a migrant and everything else around it. So if this sounds like something that interests you or that could be helpful to you in the future or going forward, then please don't forget to click the subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our videos. On my past videos to Speak Kiwi, I've talked about how important it is to be familiar with the common expressions, idiomatic expressions or phrases that the locals use here for you to be able to gain that confidence that you are able to interact to them or express yourself and be understood, or basically just hold a conversation with the locals. In addition to that, I think it is also very important for us or for you as a migrant to be familiar with the terms that they use here in New Zealand, again because it is very British. Some of the words that we will be going through today are also slang here in New Zealand, so don't leave this video. Okay, so before we start, if there is anyone in here who is watching and is planning to take the International English Language Test or the IELTS exam, or is thinking about it, which is the common requirement if you want to practice your profession overseas, especially if you're going to a British country, then this will be very helpful for you. Especially when you do your listening exam, there are a lot of British terms that they do use there, and naturally if you don't understand what they are or if you don't know what they mean, there is no way that you will get the right answer. So I hope this is going to be very helpful, like I am expecting it to be. Alright then, I think I've had an intro long enough, so let's get into it. The first word that I will be sharing with you today is apartment. So in American English you call this apartment. Here in New Zealand we refer to this as a flat. And also in the Philippines it is very common to share a house, a residential house, among few people, especially if you're a student and you're studying, and we refer to those houses as boarding house. Here in New Zealand, they are referred to as flat as well. So you would refer then to the people that you stay in the house with as your flatmates. So that's our first word, apartment, which is referred to as flat. So the second word is elevator. In American English, we call this elevator. Again, here in New Zealand, this is referred to as the lift. So our second word is elevator or lift. And the third word is zero, like the number 0. So in American English we would say zero. In the British English it is referred to as not. So that's N-O-U-G-H-T, not. So this is one of the words that I've heard a lot when I did my IELTS exam or my English language exam, especially on the reading and listening section. So again, pay attention to the British terms because they will help you understand what you're listening to or what you're reading. So that's a fourth word, zero or not. So if you want to say 0.5, some people would say it not 0.5, and that is 0.5. And the next word is slippers. So in the Philippines and also in the American English, we call this slippers, but here in New Zealand, we call these jandals. And when you say slippers here, that means an indoor footwear, or like, you know, those fluffy footwear that we use during winter. So that is what we refer to as slippers here in New Zealand. So this next one is one of my favorites. In New Zealand, if you are referring to a convenience store, or in the Philippines we call them sari-sari store, which is a small shop that basically have everything that you need, the basic needs. Is it convenience store or is it convenience store or convenience store? I'm not sure now, but anyway, a sari store. In New Zealand, we refer to that as a dairy. I found this very fascinating when we first moved here, and until now I still find it very fascinating, really. So there you go, guys. A sari store or a convenience store is referred to here as a dairy. The next word is napkins, or the table napkins. I've also mentioned this on my second ever video that I've posted when I started my channel. So in New Zealand, we refer to napkins or table napkins as serviettes. And anything that we use for eating in eating utensils like your spoon, your fork, your knives, they are collectively referred to as cutlery. And again, this next word, I have also mentioned it on my second video, and it is aubergine, meaning eggplant. And moving on to cars. This type of cars, we refer to them as a pickup or a pickup truck back home in the Philippines. But here in New Zealand, this is referred to as a ute, U-T-E, ute. And the hood of the car, which is the front part of the car, is referred to here as the bonnet. And the trunk of the car or at the back is referred to as the boot. So bonnet, boot. So in the Philippines, for you to be able to make calls or send text messages, you need load. So that is what we call it. Here in New Zealand, load is referred to as credit or phone credit. And also with the mobile phones, if there is no service provider, so in the Philippines we refer to it as a signal. So it doesn't have a signal, so you can't do anything. Here in New Zealand, we refer to it as reception. So if there is no service provider, it means there is no reception. Lastly, for the mobile internet connection, here in New Zealand we refer to it as data, D-A-T-A. It's data. Okay, so moving on to meals or meal times. Having a snack in the morning, or in the Philippines we refer to it as merienda, which is obviously a word that is influenced by Spaniards. Here in New Zealand we call that merienda in the morning, morning tea. And of course, if you have it in the afternoon, or if you have a snack in the afternoon or a merienda in the afternoon, then we refer to it as afternoon tea. And moving on towards the end of the day, dinner time is referred to as tea time here. And so your food or your dinner is then referred to as tea. Next word is coffee. So a common slang here in New Zealand for coffee is cuppa, C-U-P-P-A, cuppa. So if someone says to you, would you like to go out for a cuppa, it means that you are invited out for a cup of coffee, cuppa. And still talking about food, any ready-cooked meals or food that you buy from someone or from a shop, they are collectively referred to as a takeaway here in New Zealand. So if you go to a fast food chain or any food place wherein you have the option of whether to eat your meal in there or to take it home, you are asked whether you want to dine in or take out. So in the Philippines, it's dine in or take out. Here in New Zealand, it's to have here or take away. And still about food, soft drinks or soda, it is referred to here as a fizzy drink. And also French fries or fries, it is called here as chips or hot chips. Okay everyone, so we're almost at the end of my list. I hope I haven't bored you yet, and I hope that you're still interested. So the next one is laundry. In general, laundry here is referred to as washing. So you can either go hang your washing outside or fold your washing or do your washing, meaning do your laundry or hang your laundry outside. So next one is mechanic. So people who repair cars, instead of saying my car is with a mechanic, here in New Zealand it is referred to as the garage. So if you hear someone say my car is in the garage, it doesn't mean to say that their car is parked at home in the garage, but rather it means their car is with a mechanic, either getting a repair or a service. And we're down to our last two words. So here in New Zealand, hoodies or sweatshirt, we refer to them as, in general, a jersey. In the Philippines, when you say jersey, you mean a sleeveless top, most commonly used in basketball games. But here in New Zealand, when you say jersey, you are meaning a hoodie or a sweatshirt. And our last word for this video is when referring to a salon or a parlor shop, you would then say a hairdresser here in New Zealand. So a salon or a parlor shop is referred to as a hairdresser. There you go, guys. I have shared with you 25 Kiwi words or British words or Kiwi slang that you would normally and commonly hear and use here in New Zealand. And I hope this video has been very helpful to you. If you do want to see more videos like this from me, then please do say so down at the comment box. And again, if you haven't done it yet, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and please share it to your family and friends. Until then, bye!